Here's what I need you to understand right now. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap that will keep you stuck forever. That's the harsh reality every person must confront if they want to create something meaningful with their life. The journey to becoming your best self isn't lined with ease and convenience. It's forged through pressure, through stepping outside your comfort zone, through the daily practice of doing what needs to be done when you absolutely don't want to do it. The people who create extraordinary results aren't the ones who face the least obstacles. They're the ones who've learned to move forward despite the obstacles. They've trained themselves to take action independent of their emotional state. And this is a skill you absolutely must develop, because emotions are temporary, but the results you create will compound over time. If you want to transform your life, you must demand transformation from yourself. You must expect more from yourself than anyone else ever will. This journey begins the moment you stop waiting for someone else to make it easier and start taking responsibility for making it happen. Nobody is coming to rescue you from mediocrity. But here's the truth. When you develop the habit of acting through resistance, your entire existence will shift in ways you can't imagine right now. You cannot sit around waiting for inspiration to strike. You must create momentum through consistent action. Master this principle, and every door that seems locked will open for you. Action is the key that unlocks every opportunity you're seeking, and it doesn't come from feeling motivated. It emerges from routine, from self-control, from doing what must be done, even when every fiber of your being wants to do something else. You won't always feel energized, you won't always feel confident, but when you act despite those feelings, when you keep moving when doubt tells you to stop, you're building something invaluable, the capacity for self-mastery. This becomes your competitive advantage. While others wait for the right moment, you create the moment. While others overthink every decision, you execute and adjust. This is how you separate yourself from the crowd, not through natural talent, but through unwavering commitment to action. Real development starts when you push yourself, exactly when you want to quit. Every time you force yourself to improve when it's difficult, when you're alone, when nobody's cheering you on, you're building leverage. Not just over your circumstances, but over your own mind. Make no mistake about this. Your entire journey is a battle for control of your thoughts. Your current thinking patterns want familiarity. They want what feels safe. But your future requires something different. It demands that you override the voice saying "not today" and move forward anyway. That simple act, that repeated choice to do difficult things consistently, will gradually destroy your excuses. You'll start thinking differently, carrying yourself differently, speaking with more certainty. Not because someone gave you permission, but because you've earned your confidence through consistent follow-through. This is what happens when you force yourself to grow. You don't just change your outcomes, you transform your identity. And when your identity shifts, your entire destiny shifts with it. Let me tell you something about growth that most people never realize. It's not glamorous. Most of the time it's grinding. It's early mornings when your body feels heavy. It's late nights when your mind is foggy. It's showing up when there's no audience, no recognition, just your commitment to yourself. That's where real transformation happens. Not when everything's easy, but when everything's hard. Because in those challenging moments, the person you used to be would have given up, but you don't. You push through. You endure. And that single decision separates you from the majority of people in this world. Most people will crumble under pressure. They'll wait for the perfect timing, the perfect energy, the perfect plan. But perfection is an illusion. Only those who prepare themselves succeed. And the prepared person is someone who acts when it's difficult, especially when it's difficult. That person is building something no external force can take away. Genuine self-respect. You must become someone who forces their own evolution, not when they feel ready, but when they know it's necessary. Success isn't accidental, it's constructed through the unglamorous, challenging, disciplined repetition of doing the work. You're not competing with other people, you're competing with your former self. The weaker version of you, the one who procrastinates, who negotiates with excuses, who chooses comfort over growth. That version must be left behind. Every day, every choice, every habit must be directed toward that transformation. This mindset isn't something you're born with. It's built by forcing action when it's hardest to take. Difficulty will come, exhaustion will visit, but these aren't signals to stop. They're indicators that you're approaching your breakthrough. Most people misinterpret these signs. They see discomfort as danger. But it's actually the opposite. Discomfort is evidence that you're expanding beyond your current limits. That's where genuine change lives. Force yourself to stay in that discomfort long enough and something breaks through. What once felt impossible becomes your new baseline. This is how every exceptional person has built their success. Not by waiting, but by acting through resistance. They've all faced doubt, fear, and insecurity. But what made them extraordinary was their decision to move anyway. And if you're willing to do the same, to force your evolution through deliberate, uncomfortable action, then no goal is beyond your reach. Not because the path was easy, but because you became strong enough to handle whatever the path demanded. You must reach a point where you're tired of your own excuses. You must arrive at a moment where taking the difficult action is no longer optional. That moment when you stop asking, "Should I?" and start acting automatically, that's when your real power begins. The difference between average and elite isn't talent, it's decision making, and the most powerful decision you can make is to move when it's hard to move, to do the repetitions, to build the habits, to demand more from yourself. This isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. When you stumble, get back up faster. When you miss the mark, reset and continue. Weak people break under pressure, strong people adapt, but extraordinary people rise not because they feel like it, but because they've trained themselves to. And that training is what you must begin today, because nobody will do this for you. Nobody will save you from mediocrity. Only you can pull yourself out of average results. You must set a standard so high that your previous self couldn't survive at your new level. That begins with forcing yourself to improve, especially when it's inconvenient, especially when nobody's watching. That's when it matters most. Don't chase approval, chase personal power, the kind of inner strength that comes from following through, from being someone who keeps their word to themselves. Every day you show up for yourself, you make a deposit into your confidence account, and that account determines how boldly you move through the world. When you've trained yourself to act without being controlled by emotions, to move with clarity, to build regardless of external validation, you become unstoppable. Your success is no longer dependent on perfect conditions, it becomes inevitable. And that inevitability begins with forcing yourself to get better every single day, regardless of how you feel. Remember this: momentum dies without maintenance. Progress doesn't sustain itself. You must fuel it. You must wake up every morning and decide that you're not satisfied with where you are. You must continue stretching yourself when others would be content. Success is a moving target. What you accomplished yesterday won't be sufficient tomorrow. That's why growth must be forced. Not occasionally, but daily. Not in bursts, but through discipline. The discipline to continue, to evolve, to refine yourself until you no longer recognize the person you used to be. The key to lasting transformation lies in how you handle each moment of weakness. Will you surrender or will you fight? Your answer determines your legacy. Growth isn't accidental, it's aggressive, and it demands your complete attention. Don't make the mistake of waiting for a second wind. The second wind comes from movement, not from standing still. People who wait for motivation never build empires. They remain spectators. Those who dominate are not spectators. They are generators of effort, initiators of action, even when tired, especially when tired. They understand that the body may get tired, but the mind must lead. You must train your mind to override your feelings, to rise above the voice that says, "Not today." Because not today is the anthem of mediocrity. And you weren't born for mediocrity. You were born to break limits, to become a symbol of relentless improvement. But that only happens when you demand that standard from yourself, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it, especially then. Let's be absolutely clear. No one ever achieved greatness by doing what was convenient. Comfort doesn't create champions. Champions are forged in moments of extreme discomfort. The early hours, the long nights, the repeated disciplines that the world doesn't see. But you must choose that path voluntarily. No one will drag you toward mastery. It's a lonely road, and rightfully so, because the rewards are reserved for the few willing to walk it. When it's easier to sleep, get up. When it's easier to complain, work. When it's easier to slow down, accelerate. This is how elite performers think. They don't operate based on emotions, they operate based on identity, and their identity is tied to one principle: I do the difficult things. If you want to join their ranks, adopt that mindset. Say it out loud, live it daily. I do the difficult things. There's power in repetition. When you force yourself to do difficult things repeatedly, you train your nervous system for challenge. You build psychological resilience that protects you from quitting, and that resilience is what allows you to endure where others collapse. That's why you must commit to the challenging days. Embrace the grind, because every time you push, every time you choose effort when ease is tempting, you feed your potential. You sharpen your mind. You become more than you were the day before. Over time, this accumulation of small victories becomes unstoppable momentum. That momentum is your leverage. It allows you to break through plateaus, to silence self-doubt, to dominate your path. But it begins with one decision: to force better today, and then again tomorrow. If your goal is mastery, understand this: mastery is boring. It's not glamorous. It's not filled with constant excitement. Mastery is found in repetition, the repeated actions, the silent disciplines, the unnoticed grind. Yet the world belongs to those who embrace this monotony. They don't chase stimulation, they chase execution. That's what separates those who try from those who succeed. You must fall in love with the process of getting better, and when it gets hard, that's a signal to go harder. Not to retreat, but to double down. Your mind must be conditioned to view hardship as opportunity, because every challenge contains the potential for advancement, but you only access that potential through forced effort. You cannot wait for it to appear. You must dig. You must work. You must grow it through labor. Let me destroy a myth right now. You don't need to feel ready to take action. Readiness is a trap. It's a lie sold by comfort. The truth is, no one ever feels fully ready for the next level. That level demands more than they've mastered yet, and the only way to meet that level is to step into it unprepared and build your readiness through experience. That's how you evolve, not by waiting, but by walking through fear, by forcing growth in the face of uncertainty. That's how you train yourself to lead. You must act as if you already are the person you seek to become. Let your actions pull your identity forward. Let your effort build the character you desire. That character isn't handed to you. It's forged through action. Forced action. If you're exhausted, good. It means you're doing the work. But don't confuse fatigue with failure. The grind affects everyone, but only the weak surrender. You are not weak. You may feel it, but your strength isn't found in feelings. It's found in what you do next. Rest if you must, but rise faster. Shake off the excuses. Recommit, realign, rebuild, because that's what it takes. There's no shortcut, no cheat code, no easy path. There's only the relentless pursuit of better. And that pursuit must be chosen daily, especially on the days when your mind screams enough, because those are the days that define you, that sculpt you, that awaken the champion inside. Make no mistake, there will be pain, there will be sacrifice, there will be moments when you question why you started, but those moments aren't setbacks. They're signs that you're in the right place, because if it were easy, it wouldn't be valuable. The path to success was never meant to be painless. It was meant to be purifying, to burn away weakness, to carve strength from discomfort. That's why you must lean into it. Embrace the struggle. Reframe it as education. Every ache, every failure, every lonely hour is shaping you into someone powerful, but only if you keep going. Only if you force yourself to rise again. The weak see pain as punishment. The strong see it as preparation. You must choose strength. If there's one rule I want you to engrave in your mind, it's this: do not wait to feel like it. You act regardless. You train, you build, you execute. That is the law. And over time, the results will speak for themselves. People will wonder how you did it. They'll ask for your secret. But the answer won't be sexy. It will be simple. I forced myself to get better even when it was hard. That's the secret. Not talent, not timing. Relentless self-discipline. That's what wins. And the beautiful thing is anyone can choose it, including you. You can decide today to become the most powerful version of yourself. Not by waiting, but by doing, by mastering yourself. That's where all success begins, with the mastery of self. You want a better life, better income, better relationships, better health? Then become better. Period. Become someone who forces change through consistent action. Not because it's easy, not because it's comfortable, but because they refuse to settle. That refusal becomes your fire. That fire burns through excuses, distractions, laziness. It clears the path. But you must ignite it yourself, and you must feed it daily with action, with sacrifice, with deliberate effort. That's how you change. That's how you evolve. That's how you dominate, through consistent, courageous, painful, boring, repeated excellence. The time for excuses is over. The time for action is now. Force yourself to get better. Your future self is counting on the decisions you make today.
If this video helped you see things more clearly, imagine what's coming next. At Mind Armor, we break down manipulation, expose emotional control tactics, and help you build the awareness to protect your peace. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss a tool to strengthen your mind. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it, and turn on notifications, because the next video might be the one that changes how you see everything.